Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. Got a question now about weight transfer with a physical issue. All right, and that comes in from Mick, and he says, I'm right-handed, but my left hip has been replaced 3 times and it isn't very strong. I'm okay starting off heavy right, but worry about transferring my weight after the bump on my forward upswing. Any tips? Robert F. came back in with a comment, and Robert F. said, 3 times, wow. I'd recommend you consult your orthopedist about how much weight you can reasonably put on it. Done properly, the surge swing shouldn't create the kind of jerky motion that causes any extra trouble. After consulting your doctor, you might try just standing with full weight on the outside of that leg and flexing your knee a little. That will stimulate the sensation of the ending of the swing. Pretty good idea. At the same time, it could help you really balance yourself. I'll show that in a second. If your orthopedist recommends that you limit the weight to something less than your full body weight, then you'll need to adjust your swing to less transfer and accept that you won't be able to generate the same kind of power. Yeah, that could possibly be a probability of what might have to happen. But I really think maybe the biggest point now is the fact that you need to start, I guess, testing to find out how much weight you can get over there and at what speed you can get over there where it's not going to hurt you. I know I've had many students over the years who've had different surgeries, whether they just having the knee fixed or and have gone to PTs and OTs to get their hips and knees and ankles rehabbed after they've been hurt or whatever, broken, strained or whatever, and so they have to go through that period. Like I know one of the things I've taught for years is when I believe we have to roll the foot. A flat foot keeps the knee flexed. All right, when we swing and we hit and we make a swing, when we roll the foot over, the forward foot over, the knee can stay flexed. If we keep the foot flat, whether it be straight or even flared, if you try to keep the foot flat, it's very likely going to straighten the knee, and that's where you'll get really a lot of stress and tension and pressure put into the knee and the hip. All right, so you've had the hip replaced, and so I think the key is now, as was said in that suggestion, if you can start getting over there and just kind of flex bouncing on it a little bit, maybe even put a club in your hand and just practice making some weight transfers to there and just bounce on it. I've told folks that have been playing with a flat forward foot for years that once they start doing that and they start rolling over, that's really going to stretch all the muscles in your around your ankles and up the outside of the back of your foot, the Achilles tendon and everything else. And so you might want to start practicing this. And to this day, I still do this a lot. And right now, I can still see my shadow over here a little bit. And I can see that when I do this, my head is staying relatively still. And if anything, it's going backwards a little bit. And I can feel myself there. And then once you start doing that and you get the feeling, well, I can take that with no problem. I can take that. And then what? Go a little, maybe put a club in your hand and go a little bit farther and see and keep building it up. As long as you can take the stress and you're not getting any, pangs of pain and whatever, you just keep going. And I hope you can hear, maybe with this mic, it might be picking up, since I'm not talking, you can pick up the club swooshing going through, right? And then finally, just take it farther and farther and take it all the way to a finish. So it might be just the case now that you just have to really start working those muscles, working and getting that yourself back to the point where the muscles are active and they're being worked again and they're working properly and they're getting stronger, and more importantly, you're at that same time easing those fears in your mind that can you do it and it's not going to hurt me. And I think that's as big a thing to get over, is the fact that you mentally know that you can physically do it and do it without hurting yourself and stressing it out and putting you in a lot of pain. So I think that's I think that little tip there, Mick, that Robert F. threw in there, where he said to just do that slight little transfer and get the feeling, is probably the answer for you to put aside any of those fears that you're hurting. Last thing I'll say is if it's still hurting, you might need to see your orthopedist, as Robert F. said, or maybe get to a PT and see if he can't give you some stretching and some other drills that you could do to help strengthen up that your whole forward leg, right up from your ankle all the way to your hip. But I've seen this work for a lot of folks, especially strengthening up their ankles. Okay, and I'm sure it's going to work all the way up to the hip. All right, well, there's a couple thoughts here. Hope this helps and that you can get out there and get back to making full swings and getting over to your forward side in dynamic balance and hitting good shots so you can shoot those lower scores.